Hey friends, welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. Today I have a practice for us that's yoga for grief. I've been thinking about grief a lot lately, and in our society sometimes we veer towards wanting to be positive all the time. And so grief can feel like a heavy topic, but it's something that accompanies us our whole life. And grief isn't just when we lose a loved one. Grief happens anytime there's a loss. And in yoga practice, we know that everything is cyclical. Things are born, they live, and then they end. And so when things end, when we lose something before we expect it, or when we do lose a loved one, that grief can feel heavy. It can feel overwhelming. It can make our lives feel like they're spinning out of control. And what it's really doing is we're feeling all kinds of feelings in our body and all kinds of feelings from minute to minute. And we might not know what to do with it all. Beating ourselves up for grieving is not very helpful, even though sometimes that's our tendency as a society to just get over it. But grief needs to work itself out on its own. We can help it along the way, though. And so that's what this practice is for. So I mentioned that grief can feel really heavy. It can feel heavy in the mind. It can feel heavy in the heart. It can feel heavy in the body. And so we can invoke some of our yogic tools to help us move through and out the other side of grief. Not that this is a fix-all. This is just a practice to help support you throughout whatever grieving that you're going through. Again, I thank you so much for joining me here and choosing this practice for yourself to help you move some of that energy out of your body. We're going to start with a little grounding practice. And so, as I mentioned, grief can make you feel like you don't have any control of your life or that your life is spinning out of control. And so helping us ground down into the space that we're in can help give us a little bit of stability. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means in your body. You can even sit on a chair or a couch or somewhere comfortable. And shift your body like I just did to really ground your sit bones into the earth. Take a moment here to check in and just notice how you're feeling in this moment. A tool to take with you from our practice today is when you notice, you do it without judgment. That is the practice. We're just checking in. And the more that we notice and check in with ourselves, the more we can say, what do we need right now? And so whatever comes up that you notice, just notice it. No judgment. It's not good or bad. It just is. Maybe take a few moments to check in with your breath. Feel the sensation of it in your body. In yoga, our breath is known as our life force. It helps place us in the present moment. We can't breathe in the past, and we can't breathe in the future. We can only breathe right now. And so it's our tool to help us remember to be present and that we are alive. We are here, even with all of these feelings and all of this energy happening. When you feel ready, take your left hand to your heart space and really press it into that space. Just feel the weight of it against your chest. Let it help ground you in this moment. Take your right hand outside your right hip. Option to tent the fingers into the earth, or if it's available in your body, bring the hand and the palm directly onto the earth. Choose whichever option works best for you. And wherever you are, really press firmly into the palm, into the fingertips, whatever parts are touching the earth. Press into the sit bones. Option to close the eyes down or soften them towards the ground. And breathe into this space. Every time you exhale, think about pressing even more firmly into these spaces that are touching the earth. Releasing any parts of your bodies that are holding. A reminder for our practice together today is that whatever comes up, let it come up. And that's something to take off your mat too. We can't stifle our feelings. They are what they are. The feelings are what needs to happen. We need to let them out of our body, and we need to let them happen in order to move through the grief. And so I invite you to just let yourself and allow yourself to be wherever you are. Remembering that it'll pass, remembering that every moment is different, and remembering to be kind and gentle with yourself through this process. Taking a few more breath cycles here. On your next inhale, release your hands, bring your gaze up towards the screen, and just give yourself a moment here. We're going to come seated long edge side of our mat, moving any fleshy part of the body out of the way to continue to ground those sit down bones down into the earth. And we'll bring the soles of the feet to the mat, the knees are bent. If you need to widen your feet to make room for the belly or the body, please do. We're going to bring our hands to the back of our thighs. And we're just going to take some cat-cows here. So we'll use our hands to pull our torso forward, extending our spine forward, arching the back. Exhaling, rounding the chin towards the chest, rounding the back, leaning back slightly. Inhaling as we come forward. Exhaling as we come back. Really moving with breath. Taking up the whole breath to get where you're going. Again, if this invokes any feelings or energy that's coming out, whether you're crying or feeling upset, any kind of feeling that comes up, just allow it to be there. Taking two more here. We're going to take one more inhale forward. And on our exhale, we're going to begin to lean back. And we're going to begin to lean back so much that we need to let go and come all the way down onto our back. When you get there, take a moment, maybe bring the soles of the feet to the earth, the knees to the sky, and just let yourself be here. Let your spine elongate along the earth. And just let your heart space shine open towards the sky. Now, just a note here, opening your heart space can feel really intense, especially if you've been having a lot of feelings lately. And so if those feelings start pouring out, let them. Taking some breaths here. As best you can, allowing your body to sink into the earth, letting it hold you, letting it nurture you. On your next inhale, bring your knees towards your chest. If you need to widen them a bit to make room for the belly, please do. Just rock side to side. Rocking can feel so nice. It's similar to rocking a baby, right? To kind of soothe the energy. When you're ready, you can rock over onto your left side, keeping your knees bent towards your torso. Coming over and so your shoulders are stacked, you can bring a pillow underneath your head here. And just lay in this fetal position for just a moment, allowing this to be a nurturing pose, protecting our heart space. Being very gentle with ourselves, coming to our breath here, resting our body. Grief can take up a lot of energy too. When you're ready, go ahead and remove that pillow. We're going to bring our arms out in front of us, extended in palms together. Our arm is going to come up above the head, and it's going to open out to the right side, teeing both arms out to each side from each shoulder. We're going to lift that right arm up above the head again and around so that our palms touch one another. Our arms are extended long in front of us, out from our chest. We'll do this a few more times, inhaling the arm, sweeping it up above the head and opening the shoulder. You can tent the fingers here to lift the ground to you if your shoulder feels a little tight here. And then exhaling your way back, extending the arms out from the torso, palms come together. Inhaling, sweeping the arm one more time overhead, opening the shoulder, opening that heart space. And exhaling over the head, palms come together. On your next inhale, rock back towards center. Bring the knees towards the chest and rock side to side. You might need to adjust your hips here, using your feet to press into the earth and lift your hips up. Rocking side to side here, really letting this pose nurture you. And when you're ready, you can rock your knees to the right. Shoulders stack like we're laying in bed. We're just in a cozy pose here. Again, you can bring your pillow underneath your head, and option to stay here for as long as you want. If this is where your practice ends today and you need this and you feel it in your body, stay. Just resting here for a few moments, allowing the hands and the arms to go wherever they may, wherever feels comfortable for you. And we're actively resting here. So we're allowing our body to melt into the earth, to allow the earth to hold us. And our breath is present. We're aware of it. We're allowing the inhales and exhales to move through our body cyclically to help calm us down. When you feel ready, removing that pillow, hands tee out or come out both in front of the body, palms together. We'll lift that left arm, sweeping it up overhead and around so our shoulder and heart space opens toward the skies. Both arms are teed out to each direction. We'll exhale, bringing the arm back, the left arm back up overhead and around palm to meet the right hand. Inhaling, we'll open up, arm sweeps up above the head and around to the side. Really feeling that stretch in the heart space, the shoulder, maybe the back. Exhaling as we come around. Palms come together. One more time. Inhaling, palm sweeps up overhead, opening the heart space. Exhaling, bringing it back. Palms come together. Take that left hand and press it into the earth and press yourself up towards seated. Shimmy your way back to your mat. Coming into Sukhasana, easy pose, cross-legged in front of you. It doesn't matter which leg is in front. Maybe moving the fleshy parts out beside you. We're going to inhale our arms long above the head. And exhale, hinge at the hips, leading with the heart. We're going to fold forward. Allowing your head to come forward, allowing it to fall where it may. Now, if you have several pillows or yoga blocks, you can grab those and stack them on top of one another. And then stack a pillow on top. And bow forward and bring your head to the pillow. Allowing your arms to fall, maybe palms open. If your palms are open, it's a gesture of giving and receiving, and so it can be intense. So if you're not in a space where you can give and receive, which often with grief we're not, you can turn the palms down towards the ground. Our palms open can also be a gesture of just surrender, complete letting go of any semblance of thinking that we have control. Knowing that life will twist and turn and move. And knowing that we need to move with it. So we surrender, we let it go, we allow, we accept, we move with, we move through. When you're ready, we'll inhale and rise from here. An option to take this pose with wider legs as well. You might need to shimmy your props back here. If you don't have blocks, you can stack lots of pillows and blankets on top of each other. We'll inhale our arms again up above the head. And exhale, we'll bring our torso down towards the ground. So here you might need to make any adjustments to bring the props closer to your body or add some props here. Just allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to be nurtured. In our society, we often, rest is used synonymously with sleep. Sleep is a type of rest. But active rest like this, where we're present, we're focused on ourselves and our breath, and just allowing our body to release into the earth, is also a really good type of rest that we don't get enough of in our society often. When you're ready, we'll lift ourselves up. We have a couple more poses just to practice today. Releasing your pillow if you have it, or keeping it alongside you. We'll come onto our hands and knees. We're going to widen our knees as wide as our yoga mat and bring our toes together. If you're not on a mat, your knees will come a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to take a thread the needle here. Our left hand is going to ground down into the earth. The right arm is going to lift up towards the sky. It doesn't matter how far it goes. And then we're going to exhale, bringing that right arm in between the torso and the left arm. We're going to bring our torso down towards the ground, that right shoulder down towards the ground. We're just going to allow our body to release into the earth here. That left hand can rest onto the ground as well. If this is really intense, you can place that pillow underneath your torso to help lift yourself up a little more.
Feeling the stretch in that shoulder, maybe into that neck. On your next inhale, using that left hand, we're going to press into the earth, lifting ourselves up. Right arm comes up to the sky. Maybe you want to take a few twirls with that arm, just opening it up. And we'll come back towards center. We'll take it to the other side. So when you're ready, we'll lift our left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, weaving it in between the torso and the right arm. We'll come down, bringing our head and our torso down to the earth. Coming to the breath here. Allowing yourself this time to nurture yourself, to be kind to yourself, to be patient and compassionate. And I promise you, the more we practice that, the more freedom we'll have to move through anything that comes up with grace, with loving ourselves. That will help us get through the other side. Using that right hand pressed into the earth, we're going to lift ourselves up. Left arm comes towards the sky one more time. And we'll bring it back down towards center. Find your pillow that you just had. Find your blocks. We're going to take our last pose here. We're going to keep our knees as wide as the yoga mat or wider than our hips and our toes together. If you have blocks, you can place them here with some pillows and blankets on top to kind of mimic a yoga bolster. Just stacking anything that you have that's soft. We're going to push the props back so that they're in line with the knee, so that there's a straight line here. We'll lift ourselves over the bolster, setting ourselves up. We'll bring our hips back towards our heels and our torso down to our props. Allowing yourself to rest. So if you don't have any time to do any other poses and you really need some nurturing, I invite you to make yourself a hot cup of tea or hot water with some lemon and honey and ginger and just do this pose. Protecting the heart space, giving it a little bit of nurturing and love. So today our practice did both. We opened our heart space, helping us release some of that energy of grief. And now we're protecting our heart space with love, compassion, allowing ourselves to be where we are. Allowing ourselves some time to take care of ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And just rest. Option to stay here for as long as you'd like. You can also come into a shavasana, flat on your back, whichever feels good for you. Again, friends, I invite you as you're grieving through any kind of loss in your life to be as gentle as you can with yourself as possible. Our kindness to ourselves and our love for ourselves is what will get us through to the other side, through every cycle that we go through as we grieve. And it'll help us a lot more than if we're hard on ourselves. Being hard on ourselves for feeling the grief can keep us stuck in it. But allowing ourselves whatever feelings to come up and to move through them will get us to the other side. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And thank yourself for showing up and taking time to take care of yourself. It's so important throughout this process. Thank you, and may you be well.